Okay, fourth graders, we're going to talk about some new art words so we can start a new project today. We're going to talk about the words tints, shades, and then value. We should know this word from last year, value. That just means from dark to light, so it has to do with color. We're going to learn tints and shades now and how tints and shades relates to value. So remember from last year, value is the lightness or the darkness of a color. So white is the lightest value, black is the darkest value. We learned this last year when we were creating those 3D forms, those invention projects. We know that with our pencil, to create a dark value, we press a little bit harder when we shade. And when we create a light value, we don't press as hard. So this is how we created form with just black and white. But this works a different way with color. So how does this work with color and paint? Because for our next project, we're going to use color and paint to show value. So tint is a word that means adding white to a pure hue. So hue just means color. So adding white to a pure color. So if you look at my red here, there's no mixing happening to this red. It's just a regular red. When I add white to it though, the red becomes lighter and lighter. So we call this a tint. It's a tinted red. So it's becoming lighter. Shade is just the opposite. It means adding black to a color. So if I take my same red and I start to add a little bit of black and a little bit more black, it's going to create some dark shades of red, some dark values of red. So color plus white equals tint, color plus black equals shade. So a value scale, remember that just means a scale of all the possible values of one color from light to dark. So for our next project, we're going to be focusing on one color plus black and white. So when we talk about one color just means monochromatic. Mono means one, chromatic means color. So monochromatic is one color plus black and white. So this sphere right here is monochromatic red. There's light values of red and dark values of red. Okay, let's talk about how value relates to our next style of art. So we talked about some art words. Now we're going to talk about a style of art. So these pictures up here show a certain style called Polygon Style Art. So we're going to use Polygon Style Art and color values to create a work of art. So you can kind of see in each of these works of art, they're taking an image of either an animal or a character, and they're taking these little tiny polygons. A polygon is just a shape with angles, and they're breaking that form up into these polygon shapes, and they're just sticking with monochromatic colors for most of these. So the Yoda is just really dark and light greens, and then the Stormtrooper is really dark and light black and gray colors. You can kind of see in the Pikachu here, there's darker yellows, and there's lighter yellows to make him up. So for our project, we are going to create a polygon work of art that uses color value and is monochromatic, and we're going to be creating pictures of animals like mine here. So we'll start with a picture of an animal, and we're going to break it up into these polygon shapes, and then we're going to paint these color values and do a lot of color mixing later. So what you're going to be focusing on today is choosing your animal, thinking about your color scheme, and then we're going to be drawing out these polygon shapes today. We will be doing lots of painting next week, but today is just going to be a lot of drawing these polygon shapes. So in my video that I'm going to show you next, you will see how after you've selected an animal, you're going to do something called an image transfer, and that just means you're going to take this animal and copy those polygon shapes so that we can paint this later. Okay?